Hello, Sunshine, and welcome to another special edition of the State of the Union podcast. We have a very special guest joining me here and David Mosse here on the State of the Union. Todd Dunivant, and as far as I'm concerned, an MLS legend, a perpetual winner when it comes to MLS Cups, five-time MLS Cup champion winner, Stanford grad, one of the great left backs in Major League Soccer history, has played for a number of different teams, including the Earthquakes and the Galaxy and a couple other teams there, won an Open Cup with the Galaxy, and he has been a GM since 2018 with the Sacramento Republic. Todd Dunivant, welcome to the State of the Union. Can you hear us? You look beautiful, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, Alexi. David, hey, great to be here. What an intro. Thank you.
There we go.
Couldn't have written one better myself.
Well, you wrote it, and I just read it. So that's what we do. All right, listen, exciting times for you and for Sacramento. And the reason why we wanted to bring you on was twofold. One, the pressing issue with your team getting ready to take on Sporting KC in the semifinal of the Lamar Hunt Open Cup. Now, this is a big game. It's been sold out for weeks. You guys are hosting it. I know you're very, very excited. You've been doing a lot of press, and rightfully so, because I think it's a big moment for this team. How big of a moment is this? We heard down in Miami last week, Mr. Neville say that their game against Barcelona was the biggest game in their club history. Is this the biggest game in Sacramento's club history?
Yeah, it's hard to top this at this point. I think, the club exploded onto the scene back in 2014. With 20,000 plus fans to every single game, won a championship. So certainly don't want to take anything away from that past. But in terms of kind of the history of this club, this is massive. And the run that we're on, you don't see this very often. This happens once or twice a decade in U.S. soccer. And that's why it's interesting and that's why it's cool. I think our players, our club have earned our place in the semifinals, and we're going to have to have an incredible night to move on to the next stage. So this isn't the end of this road for us as far as we're concerned, but it's a massive one.
Yeah, Todd, you're trying to become the first non-MLS club to win this since 1999, the Rochester Rhinos. You've already knocked off two of your former clubs, San Jose and the Galaxy, on this run. Now you face SKC. How motivating is it for your players to face an MLS club? How satisfying is it to knock them off? Do you feel like your players enter these games with a real chip on their shoulders?
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I think that sums up Sacramento. We got a chip on our shoulder. Kind of an afterthought in terms of California, big cities, but there's a ton of pride here. I think our players feel it, our fans feel it, the community feels it. So this is why you play. Moments like this, games like this is why our players play, and this is what we as a club want to aspire to punch above your weight, to rise up and when the occasion hits. And so far, our guys have been absolutely tremendous at that. And it's going to be our toughest game. Kansas City is going to be our toughest opponent yet in the Open Cup. We know that they do very well in this tournament. They've prioritized it for years, and they've won it as many times as anyone else in the league. So for us, this is a great opportunity.
Well, you mentioned prioritizing, and look, if you look at SKC this year, it's been a miserable year for this team, and they, in that sense, have had to, out of necessity, put all these eggs in the Open Cup basket. So, but you still have your hands full with this MLS team. For those that aren't necessarily familiar with the setup there, give me a little behind the scenes look as to what one could expect when you go to a Sacramento game. If you were to get lucky enough to have tickets to this this game, the stadium setup and just the experience setup, which I know is so important to all teams, whether it's USL and NWSL or MLS.
Yeah, this is going to be unique. I mean, so our stadium's at the California State Fairgrounds at Cal Expo, and just so happens that the California State Fair is going to be happening during the game this week. It started last week, and so in the backdrop, you'll see the Ferris wheel, you'll see carnival rides. It is going to be a kind of a magical backdrop. Like you said, we've sold this game out for weeks now. We've never seen demand like that. And the secondary market is going crazy. So it's certainly captured the imagination of our fans. And I think, again, you don't see this kind of a run often. And that's what makes it notable. And honestly, that's what makes the Open Cup fun. The chance for, the David Goliath story, and to be able to, have those kind of cup sets that everybody can get behind.
I was going to ask you about that. You won the U.S. Open Cup as a player. Do you feel like that competition gets as much respect as it deserves, or do you feel like it should be even bigger in this country?
Yeah, it has so much room to grow. I think every team would tell you that they want to win. Uh, this trick and the secret sauce is doing it in the most economical way possible, and that's what teams try to do. They try to, advance, survive, and advance. And sometimes the game plan works, sometimes it doesn't, and that means you got to rotate the squad. You got to, we've had to do that as well. We played a couple of rounds where we were playing teams in lower divisions than us. We played Phoenix Rising from our own division, and then we played up, against MLS a couple games. So it's all about managing the season, managing a congested schedule, and we've added 5 games. This will be our 6th now on top of our league schedule, and you gotta wade through all of that. So yeah, to your point, I think this competition's tremendous. It gives you, the winner gets a berth in Champions League, and it's unique in that you can have these David Goliath stories that are interesting to watch, and that's what we all want.
All right, let's make it a little bigger picture here, because Sacramento is a soccer town, as you know, and as we know from the outside. Sacramento has a history, and when it comes to Major League Soccer, Sacramento though has been the bridesmaid multiple times. Why is Sacramento not part of MLS yet?
Yeah, it really comes down to one thing, and we haven't secured the lead investor that ultimately needs to take the team to MLS. It's very expensive to do that now, and easier said than done. That's been the missing piece. We've got a great stadium plan downtown that we're going to move forward with or without MLS. I think it's been very obvious now over the course of the last 15, 20 years how important a downtown stadium is for clubs. We've got that. And beyond that, we've got a market that supports soccer. It's a one sport town currently, in terms of major league sports and having the NBA Kings, and it's a void that we can fill. So for us, we need to get over the hump with that lead investor, and good things happen. But we're focused solely on the here and now, and I think this cup run's rejuvenated our fans, our fan base, and the club as a whole. And we think moving to a downtown stadium will even further that cause.
Well, you just mentioned that in this country, it's about having the money to become an MLS club. I do have to ask you, as the president and GM of a USL team, how do you feel about the whole issue of promotion relegation, which is talked about so much among fans in this country?
Yeah, it's a fun topic. Certainly, I think everybody's got an opinion on it. I think, in a perfect world, it's great, right? Because it pushes everybody, it pushes the competition up. It has real consequences for teams that do invest and teams that don't invest. And I think, that's interesting for fans. With our system, with having the leagues set up in the way they are, there's a lot of issues to work through to get somewhere where it makes sense for all parties involved. So it is a romantic idea. It's certainly, you see it in the rest of the world, but ultimately in this country, being so new into the pro soccer world, I think, I don't think people give U.S. soccer enough credit for how young the sport is here still. Alexi was carrying the flag for us back in '94, and that was a pivotal moment. And now we're about to have another one here in a few years. But just in that time frame alone of 30 or so years, it is incredible what this country has done, the amount of stadiums, the infrastructure, the investment that's gone into the sport. People don't give it enough credit, and it is still a super young sport, and you haven't had multiple generations kind of rise up through that to be born into it, if you will. So U.S. soccer is on the right path, and I'm certainly bullish on it.
Well, that's very kind of you. But speaking of credit and praise, it warms the cockles of my redheaded heart and my old redheaded heart at this point to see people like you being given opportunities and also seamlessly just transitioning to a very, very different type of environment. And I know you certainly had the education, but you've also had some really interesting experiences. And I'm always fascinated to get a peek behind the curtain a little bit in how it is gone, because I remember years and years ago, people would tell me, just, use the lessons that you learned as a player. And yes, some of that transitions, but I'm sure you would agree that not all of it does. So what are some of those lessons that you have learned? What are those eye-opening experiences that you have had moving into the front offices, moving into the business world, as opposed to the locker room and the field?
Yeah, there's definitely, like you said, there's definitely lessons that you learned and traits and the competitiveness, all those things, you can bring that over. But you are going to learn, and there's always a learning curve. I think that for me is the number one thing, is you never stop learning. I mean, I do not have it all figured out. I don't think I ever will. But the key for me has always been to ask questions, to lean on people, to get people beside me that know more than me, right? Whether it's marketing, whether it's sponsorships, whether it's community, just get good people in the front office that can lead you. So for me, that, and then you ask questions, you try to learn, you try to poke and prod, and be that conduit between the team, between the front office. That for me is fun. It's having that openness to always learning, and again, surrounding yourself with good people. That's what the only time I've ever had success on the field or off is when I've had great people around me. And we certainly have that here with an owner and Kevin Nagel that has done a tremendous job and buoyed this team from day one, and continues to do that. You talked about, we're missing that final piece. Kevin has been instrumental to everything we've done, and has given us the resources, not just for our team, but for a front office that puts on a great show for our fans and does things in a first-class way week in and week out.
See, he's a smart man. You got to praise the owner. Always got to praise the owner.
Oh, Todd, I apologize if I'm bringing up a sore subject here, but I was lining up your playing career with Alexi Lalas' general manager career. Did Alexi trade you a couple of times?
Listen, there's some of those years are foggy, neither one of us remember. But it's a business, and, things happen. And it so happened that I was a left back that, was sought after, and sometimes things happen. Sometimes you get in a position where you have multiple players as a luxury in a position. And no hard feelings whatsoever.
It's much easier to find players that weren't traded by me now, nowadays. Before we let you go, I really appreciate it. And once again, a reminder: this game is going to be big, not just for the teams involved, but for the tournament, which needs as much exposure out there. For, as Todd has mentioned, the underdog type of matchup that we have here. It's going to be fun to watch. And by the way, you can watch it on ESPN Plus, and I think they've done a really good job with the U.S. Open Cup. Give people a little primer in terms of the team, in terms of players that we should be watching, that either for the game or in the future we should keep our eye on.
Yeah, good question. I think our team, we retooled that, in the off season, really brought about 3/4 of the team as new players. We've got a back three that has been tremendous during this run. Dan Casey, Connor Donovan, Lee Desmond, bit of an Irish trio. I think, have done a great job in the back for us, locking it down. But we also have a player in Luis Felipe who scored 3 game-winning goals. He came from MLS with the San Jose Earthquakes, has done a tremendous job for us. Rodrigo Lopez, a club legend, somebody who, was the talisman for that, 2014 team. We brought him back, and he's been our captain this year. Absolutely killed it, and done a great job. So all over the field, we feel like we have the right mentality, the right attitude, which in cup games and in one-off games, that is how you advance. And we know that Kansas City is going to be coming. Peter Vermes' teams do not mess around when it comes to these competitions. We saw what happened against Omaha, and we know how important this competition is to them. So we're expecting our toughest match yet, but we're playing in front of our home fans. We are up for the challenge, and our guys are ready to go.
Todd, last one from me. I know there's a correctional facility that you guys visit from time to time, Folsom Prison. Did you think about putting this SKC game there to create a really intimidating environment?
That's a good question. We go to Folsom Prison every single month, and it is an incredible experience. I mean, just to be able to be in that environment, to play soccer, it's really simple what we do. We literally go and play a pickup game with them. The guys that are able to play, there's a waiting list of over 100 inmates that want to be part of the game. And we go back every single month. We let our players come in. They watch. We don't let them play. I don't want to get those calls from their agent when they twist an ankle on the prison yard. But we have a great time. And honestly, I mean, believe it or not, you forget where you are. And I think that's the beauty of the game. You roll the ball out. You could be in a park on a Sunday league, and that's what the guys, I think, in the prison appreciate so much, being treated like humans, and having that getaway and that release that they don't get on a day-to-day basis. It is a cool experience, and we love it. We're going to keep going.
That sounds awesome. I would like to play in that. All right, Todd, part of your job, and I'm going to let you go with this, is to sell the game, to sell your league, and obviously to sell your team. So one last chance here. Sell us as to why Sacramento Republic is a team that we should tune into, whether it is on Wednesday when you play SKC in the semifinals of the Lamar Hunt Open Cup at 10:30 Eastern Time on ESPN+, or further on down the line as you continue on with USL, or in the future when maybe you become an MLS team.
Yeah, I mean, Sacramento's different. It just is. You come here and you can feel it. You see the gear all over town. You're in an Uber, and the driver will know about the team, will know about our plans for the Rail Yard Stadium, will know that we're a big deal here. And I think that's what's unique. In so many markets, you don't have that relevancy, but you do in Sacramento. People care about it. People love it. People are behind it. The politicians here, our mayor is behind it. Our city council is behind it. The business community is behind it. It is different here. You felt that when we announced, MLS back in 2019, and we had 12,000 people on Capitol Mall that showed up spur of the moment. It is just different here. And why you want to tune in, this team is playing with a lot of heart, a lot of passion, and taking down two MLS teams, wants to make it a third. We know how tough that's going to be. We know we're the underdog, but that is what our club is all about. It's what our city's about. The city motto's, Urbs Indomita, which means we're the indomitable city. We do not back down from a challenge. We do not, take no for an answer, and we're going to keep going. That's what this tournament's about for us. That's what our players are playing for, and having fun all the while doing it.
Love it. I love it. I'm sold. All right. Again, the pathway for Sacramento to arrive here at the semifinals. Let's see. You beat Timbers under 23. You beat Central Valley Fuego, Phoenix Rising, Earthquakes, Galaxy, you mentioned, and now in the semifinal against Sporting KC. Incidentally, the other semifinal will be Orlando versus the Red Bulls. If Sacramento were to win, you guys can't host the game, but obviously you would go to a final. And as we said at the beginning, looking to be the first USL team to reach a final since 1999 and possibly win a final since 1990. I remember it well. I remember Yari Allnut and his beautiful bald head running around with Rochester back then, like it was yesterday, and yet it was a long time ago. Todd Dunivant, thank you first off for coming on the State of the Union. Congratulations and Godspeed going forward, whether it's on the field with the team or off the field with all the different experiences that you are happening. You are a credit to the game, not just as a player, but what you are doing now. And I love that you are giving back and that you are working hard and you are having these wonderful experiences. It couldn't happen to a nicer guy. And I wish you luck on Wednesday when you do face Sporting KC again at 10:30 Eastern Time on ESPN Plus in the semifinal of the Lamar Hunt Open Cup. Thanks, Todd.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Great to be here.
All right, and thank you for tuning into this special State of the Union podcast interview with the Sacramento Republic President, Todd Dunivant. We will see you again next time, same place, same channel, same sound, same beautiful people here, including David Mosse over here. Thanks, David. And until then, and as always, size the day.
You like that clip? Well, my State of the Union podcast drops every week. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.